My name's Isabel Cooper, and I'm here right now for Canadian Film Review, and I'm talking with Tonya Lee Williams. So my first question to you about Empire of Dirt is, can you tell me a little bit about how you got this role?
It's really great when something like this happens. When I've known Jennifer Podemsky for over 20 years, and I'm a huge fan of hers, and she's been a big supporter of not only my career, but of ReelWorld Film Festival that I founded. And I saw her at last year's TIFF at the producers ball, and she said, "Oh, I've been trying to get through to you." And I wrote, but she's developed this, this is her first script, the first thing that she was producing, a film. She's produced television before. And she said, "I've got this lovely role, not a huge role, but I've been thinking about you the whole time, and would you do it?" And of course, I think people in the industry, when they know one another, you really want to support other people's work. And I said, "I don't care if it's one line. I'm happy to work on your project." And then she sent me the script, and it was really good. It was a great story, the kind of thing that I'm always interested in doing. It's about people of color telling their own stories, and she's Aboriginal, and this is a deeply beautiful. Not only is it an Aboriginal story, but what I love about stories that people of color tell about their own communities is how these stories are universal to anybody.
And for Empire of Dirt, there's many different themes going on in the film, and it's got many different aspects to the characters. But one of them, of course, is sort of cultural identity and certain stereotypes. And I think I'm not giving away anything in the sense that there's a scene where there's the lead character is a former model. She goes to her agent, and her agent basically says, "You're too ethnic, and that's not the look anymore." Right. And is that sort of what you're referring to in terms of the waves, like it's in, then it's out?
Yes, exactly. And you know what? That happens for white actors too. So we want to make sure that everybody understands the industry is just that way. It's Tom Cruise is sometimes in and sometimes he's out. So no matter who you are, there's always something that's in fashion. I mean, right now, could there be more in fashion? It's zombie this, zombie that. It's like, and it'll come out again, where it'll be angels this, angels that, and then it's and it just goes in and out, and you have to try and be as current to whatever it is going on.
Going back to Empire of Dirt, it's very interesting that there's a Caucasian male director directing 4 very strong female characters, all who have racial backgrounds that are not Caucasian and struggling. Your character doesn't as much, but the other characters kind of struggle with their Indian heritage and, like, what does it mean, and in a way kind of rejecting it or fighting it. How do you think he managed to do such a great job directing people that are in a very different situation than his?
I think what's wonderful is Peter is an actor for so many years. So I love being directed by actors who direct, because sometimes directors who don't know about acting can have expectations that are not really possible and feasible for actors to reach those places. But Peter had a way of communicating and talking to us. I'm sure it's the way he always wishes directors would sort of communicate the bigger picture, so where he had a lot of confidence in us as actors. But what you said, I think it's really great that you don't have to be someone from that ethnic community to understand, especially when they're universal themes. The themes are about struggle, and as I think even if you're a man and you're doing a movie about women, as long as you can understand what struggle might be, and he certainly, captured that. I think in the end of the day, a good director can just tell any story. But what's great about not limiting it from a white director doing that is that there's also directors of color who say, because I'm a black director, I always have to make a black film because I'm so I think the future is about breaking out of that too, so that good storytelling can just be good storytelling. I remember when Norman Jewison did Moonlight. And people thought he's not Italian, and how is he going to? What a great film! And a family is a family, and he certainly knew about family dynamics. And Peter just is. I haven't seen the full film. Remember, I get to see it at TIFF like everybody else, but I'm looking forward. But the experience from behind the camera was a really good one.
There's natural actors, and there's actors who, maybe the tendency is to overact. How do you make a performance just really natural without sort of overpowering the scene?
I studied drama at Ryerson, and one of the things that I always enjoyed about acting is that you're acting when you're actually listening. So I focus more on that. When I'm really working as an actor is when I'm listening to the other actor. When you're speaking, that's actually the least effective, I think. And I think one's naturalness comes from how engaged are you to listening to what the other person is saying, and that's where I stay most focused. I've worked with actors, and I can see in their eyes they're really not hearing what I'm saying. They're so waiting to speak, and I think that loses sort of an essence of that. And I like to be relaxed, and I'm sure it was helpful too. When you're working on a low budget film, the cast is really small, the crew is really small. You feel like you're in a tiny little group of 20 people, so there is a relaxed feeling. And Peter has that energy too. There are directors who have that hyper energy, and I find I have to then stand away and go in a quiet place because I can't work with that kind of frenetic energy around me. But Peter's like a really relaxed, cool guy, just when he's talking. And people talk about Clint Eastwood all the time, and I bet he's a similar director. I've never met him, but they go when he's ready, he just goes and go. Not like this action, and no one has to be yelling anything. It's relaxed.
Well, that's wonderful, and because you have such a different, you've done so many different aspects in the film community, and you've done TV, and you have like such a diverse background of all the different things that you've done. That probably helps you in terms of the actor that you've done direction, you've done producing, you understand.
Yeah, I think it's important for all actors too. I think we have a fascination about the business as a whole. Nothing can be myopic. You can't just go, I'm an actor and that's all I'm gonna. I watch other actors too. I love watching a Judi Dench. Those are, and there's actors I love watching, and they're maybe the people that aren't the huge stars and they're a bit in the background, but without them there would be such a hole. Their energy of able to support and make the other actors shine. I like that. It's part of my nature to do that. I get excited watching that something I'm doing is bringing out the best in another actor. So I think it always starts with your personality first, and then you can layer a character over that, but always at the essence, no matter what actor you love, you're seeing pieces of themselves, and you can tell a lot about an actor. My favorite thing is sometimes I'm watching something and I go, that actor is so good, but I wouldn't want to hang out with him. Because I can tell he's difficult and a lot of work. That performance was really fantastic, but I was like, oh my God, I bet he's so much work to live with, because you can see it, underlying in the work. And even as crazy as a Robert De Niro is, I have a feeling at the end of the day he's a really quiet, down to earth kind of a guy. Even when he was doing Taxi, there's an essence of something that you can see in someone that grounds them, that you're like, yeah, I could respond to that, or no, that guy is the guy that would be like, why is the peanut butter thing like this? Why is that he's just going to nag all the time.
So ultimately, I guess everyone's bringing their own personality into the character, and probably no two actors would ever play the same character the same way.
No, that's absolute. In fact, I learned that a long time ago. I would always go to an audition, and I would just leave. You just leave. I let it go. I forget about it. And I would watch friends just get angst, did I get it? Didn't I get it? They're calling their agents. Did I get it? Didn't I? They're asking agents, call the casting director. Why didn't I get it? Why? I'm like, you are so stressed out, because I've also cast. And there's something. Nobody knows what that thing is. You could be doing the best job possible, but there is a magic. There's something, because you've imagined already what that character is. You can't help it. You, as a director, as a producer, there's something that you've been toying with, and someone walks in with that quality. Even if they haven't nailed the performance 100%, that quality's there. You can't act that quality or not. It's either there or not. So for me, when I audition, I let it go, because either that quality is there, even if I screwed up the lines and thought the audition wasn't very good, either that quality is going to be there, it's not going to be there, and you can't make that or fake that. Especially with TV, it's one thing with stage, where you have that, moving all around, but when it's that intimate, people can sense a liar, and it's uncomfortable to watch.
Well, this has been a wonderful chat, very informative, and thank you so much for taking the time.